It is that time where yesterday we caught up with the NPSL champs and Santiago Lopez. And he is carrying on a family tradition with the El Farolito franchise in the NPSL. Amateur club. And there are times when, we'll be looking at them in Open Cup or things like that, and they'll knock off a couple of folks, like beat Sacramento, go a couple of rounds, those kinds of things. And this season, they had two teams going at the same time as an amateur club, chasing after two separate competitions, winning both of them. And last time, the last one of the two was the NPSL championship this past weekend in Bristol, Virginia, knocking off Bristol Rhythm. So we caught up with him. And for those of you watching on the video side, it's going to look a little weird because Coach Lopez was trying to get a computer to work in his office, and it wasn't working. So he had to race out to his car and fire up his laptop and sit with that laptop in his lap in the passenger seat of his car to do this interview. And this is stage 1 of 2. We're going to catch up with him again next week to find out about dealing with the amateur landscape and multiple clubs and what they're looking to do in continuing the traditions and trying to make El Farolito a place where you can learn the game if you're in your teenage years and have multiple teams and go MLS next. And that was another step that they took this season. So it was really interesting to find out about that as well. But that deeper conversation is going to be next Tuesday on the network. So we'll have that conversation probably hour 2 next week, as opposed to having it live because it would be 7:00 in the morning. So here's stage 1 of a conversation that we had with Santiago Lopez, the head coach at El Farolito in the NPSL, about doing a bunch of different things at once. And here in 2026, coming out of champ not once but twice and going back to back in the NPSL. Have you recovered? Are you recovering? Where are you after all of this whirlwind has completed itself, at least this round?
Great to see you again, John. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah, we flew back last night. I could tell you that it's been a real trip. Fatigued, finally got some sleep, not to think about so much strategy and things. So finally getting some rest. But yeah, it's been great and very tiring.
Well, and at the same time, I don't think a lot of folks know that you were chasing after multiple championships at the same time. That had to have been chaotic.
Yeah, just a rotation. We're very fortunate to have a good squad, players that around the area that want to contribute. So the season we had a second team in the San Francisco Soccer League, football soccer league, and yeah, we had some players that could step up and just rotation to try to make the quality stay and the level stay high.
Continuity for me in a situation like this. I mean, look, I'm looking at it from a journalist perspective. That to me was it's crazy to see what you were trying to pull off. How is this from a coaching perspective with a first team and a second team? And okay, you've got to go here and do this, and you're going here to do this championship, and we're going to Bristol. And I mean, this sounds like a logistical, like a logistical dictionary or a how-to, man. How did you pull this off?
Yeah, we never planned it. They present us the opportunity to play in the Amateur Cup. We never done it before, and it hasn't been done in a long time. And we said absolutely, we want to always learn. We want to make sure our players get exposure, that they get minutes, that help them out in their development. So yeah, we without a doubt it was just a great learning experience, and there's definitely room to improve.
When you're assembling first and second teams, I mean, I don't think a lot of folks know ages and levels of experience and all this kind of stuff. How many folks were taking time off of like real world jobs to go and be either a part of the first team or the second team? And I mean, there's a lot of sacrificing going on, I would imagine.
Yeah. So for the Utah trip for the Region 4, we already knew those dates. So a lot of people take their time off. Luckily, there are just a lot of independent contractors, so they do their own thing, personal trainers and whatnot. So there's some that have more flexibility, and always with communication, we were able to manage that and then take not everybody that we would took in Region 4. We took a smaller group to the Amateur Cup in Milwaukee, and we just try to pull it off with managing the loads, the fatigue, and all that. So it was extremely challenging, but it all worked out.
What did you learn about yourself in all of this?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I learned that I need to be more prepared and give more opportunities to players, previously knowing already they're going to be used at certain times. I knew we were going to fly to Utah. I should have played those some of those players with more frequency previous to that, give them more repetition, because I feel like some of them that played in that in the Milwaukee semifinals, they didn't do as much as we expected, but it's not their fault. It was mine because I didn't prepare them enough. So I definitely need to prepare not just 24. I need to prepare everybody, including the second team, that when they need to step up to the first, they know exactly how what to do. And unfortunately, some of them, because of my fault, they weren't be able to do that in Milwaukee.
Well, and when you have two teams, I imagine it's philosophically the same when it comes to approach and how you do things, game day on the field. You can't be in two places at once. At least I don't think so, unless you've figured out something that a lot of coaches will want to bang on your door about. It's like, dude, how are you in two places at once? How did you navigate this from a coaching perspective and a physio perspective, monitoring injuries, making sure everybody's 100% and all that? How did you monitor that, all this stuff?
Yeah, well, communication with the player. Also, a lot of them already know how they are. I know when they're a bit tired. I know how they train. If they have some knock on their foot, I know how they play. So it's a lot of communication, understanding, and not pushing the player. There's players every coach wants their best players 90 minutes, but unfortunately you can't. So it's managing those type of loads and taking care of them, and just thinking of the bigger picture. We had some players that were injured for two key players in the first team that were injured for the Duluth quarterfinal here, and we had to sit them down because we were just thinking of Milwaukee, and luckily it all worked out. But it's just a lot of communication.
How hard is it to go back to back?
It's extremely difficult. Not so much about the game plan or the opponents. It's the environment inside the group. People get overconfident. They start realizing that they're starters, or they get more minutes than certain players. So it's a lot of group management. In the beginning of this year, I was coaching MLS Next Academy, and it was a real struggle for me to be at all the trainings before the Open Cup. We had two assistant coaches, but the group weren't responding. They weren't just bonding together. It was very, very stressful. And after I was done with that, we definitely took a more on the psychological and just personal roles of focus more on their personalities and just the game, and it just group management for sure. It's a more struggle for me. It's a more difficult thing to make everybody happy.
When you're trying to navigate all of this, like I said, I mean, just the fact that you were able to navigate and make sure that everything came out the other side. Have you ever been in your coaching career? Have you ever been in a calendar year or a season like this where you've had to jump through all of these hoops or juggle all the chainsaws or whatever? Have you ever been through a season like this before?
No, it was his first time. Coaching two clubs at the same time, and then one club trying to manage two teams, a first and a second team. The travel around this area, the traffic, being away from home, then competing at the Amateur Cup and NPSL. It was a lot of football, but hey, I'm extremely happy, and I believe it or not, I have a lot of energy to continue and improve and try to keep reach as many champions as we can, for sure.
When when you go out into the communities and everybody sits there and they understand who you are and what El Farolito has been able to do, what's it like to get feedback on what you've been able to accomplish as an organization over the last couple of years?
No, they're very happy. The main message is that they're extremely, extremely happy that I continued the tradition that my dad started. Um, they, I know that there's a lot of, the groups from the late '80s and '90s. They see what's going on, and now they're playing over, their leagues when they're over 40s, 60s, whatnot, and and what my dad or El Farolito created in those times, it was just a lot of pride and joy. Having a high level team that when MLS didn't exist, to have something that it was rooted, it was created here in the community. It was in the Mission District, how it all started from the ground up, from a third division in San Francisco Soccer Football League. It was really, really, it was planted and born and taken care of here in the Mission, and to see that they remember all those great times when before the MLS, having international games here, national team players playing at Boxer Stadium, El Farolito competing against First Division South America Mexican teams. Um, so for us to continue to do that and have the name be spread out nationally, it's kind of the same feeling for them, and it's that's the main principle. They're just very, very happy that El Farolito still exists and is competing.
So then, are you and I mean this in the organizational sense? Is El Farolito happy where it is right now as an organization, making the impacts that it is, being in the leagues that it is? Is there any thought about growth or going other places? I mean, are you happy where you are and what you're able to accomplish there through that prism?
Yeah, obviously we, at least for me, and I'm speaking for the same thing as a lot of the players, is that they want to be in a professional environment. They want to be pro. They want to be 100% dedicated to the game. Unfortunately, right now, that's not the possibility, for whatever reason it is, and we just have to be patient and prepare ourselves as players and as coaches. Um, but as an organization, I really don't know, if giving shares or looking for sponsorship, you might have to exchange certain rights for the name and brand. And I know the main message of my sister, the president, and everybody else who are owners. We want to keep it in house and family. We want to be 100% um, local. So we just don't know, and we honestly don't even have the money to do that. It's always a struggle to maintain a business with a lot of employees. We want to make sure we keep things affordable in the restaurants. So it's a lot of things going on, and for now, I think we're very happy of being that amateur team competing against the pros. I think it serves as an example for the entire country that anybody could compete against a professional if you really want to, at least in soccer. And it's unfortunately we don't have promotion relegation for the good and the bad reasons, but um, this is one way to show that you can still compete.
Yeah, and that was kind of why I was asking, because of the impact that you're making as an organization, capital O, where you are, you're making as much of a statement, and you are as loud as humanly possible with what you're able to do, and what you've been able to do over the last couple of years. And that's why I was asking. It's like you're smashing things, and everybody sits there and they understand. Come Open Cup or come NPSL and come amateur competitions, they know who you are. And I didn't know if there was any thought to, yeah, we're hitting home runs the way that we are, or we're hitting solid singles and getting on base every single time, and everybody knows who we are. That's why I was asking the question.
Yeah, it's complicated. We've never heard from anybody approach. There's been sponsorship approaches, but like to go professional at a different level and stuff like that, we have never received anything. We don't know if that would ever happen, and I'm positive that they're willing to listen to anybody. That's for sure. But for now, the main focus is to continue what we're doing right now and create a legacy in U.S. soccer.